Hey everybody, Rob Veno here, WagerTalk.com, WagerTalk TV. We're here with your Friday free play with analysis. We're going to go into the NBA playoffs tonight. We'll talk about both of these games. Let's start off with the Cleveland Indiana matchup. Game 3 of this series, desperation time for the Cavaliers. Game opened as a pick'em 228. We now see the game skyrocketing all the way to Cleveland 5 and 229. Word is out that excuse me, the three injured Cleveland players, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, all participated in shoot around this morning. Thus, the big move towards the Cavs here. How much they help, how healthy they are, anybody's guess, but you know how NBA lines work. As soon as guys are either announced in or out, and this isn't even a full announcement, this is just a shoot around participation, but the money starts pouring in. So here we are with Cleveland -5, 229. Here's the matchup and the situation. We'll just go through the first two games here. The Cleveland injury situation, obviously, that's the most important factor in this game. And you could add to that the fact that Donovan Mitchell is actually playing with a bothersome calf issue, played through it in game 2. He'll play through it again here in game 3, but it is an issue at this point in time. So that's 4 banged up Cavaliers, less than 100%. The first 3 players, obviously Garland, Mobley, and Hunter, they all affect the Cavaliers' depth. They all affect the statistical distribution, how things are done. You saw Donovan Mitchell carry the entire burden the other night. And, you know, the note on Mitchell just magnifies those concerns. Despite everything about the injury situations, Cleveland still held a 7-point lead with 50 seconds left in Tuesday's game 2. Mitchell scored 48 points, went out of his mind, still found a way to lose that game. Question here is, can Cleveland duplicate what they did in game 2? Can they be up 7 with 50 seconds left here in Indiana tonight in game 3? Can Mitchell put on the offensive show that he put on in game 2? It's a pretty big question. Indiana at home in 3 playoff games so far, and granted they were all against Milwaukee, but they're 3-0 straight up on this floor. Wins of 19, 8, and then a 1-point win in overtime. They've scored between 117 and 123 in their 7 playoff games thus far. And in the first 2 games of this series, I think this is important to note. They've shot 53% in game 1. They shot 51.8 in game 2, scored 121 and 120 points. But the game 1 numbers are so significant because Mobley and Hunter were present in that game. Those are 2 of the best defenders on the Cleveland side. And even with them on the floor in game 1, in a tough environment because it was a game 1 setting on the road, Indiana still managed to shoot 53%, win the game by 9 points, score 112. So we can't get too caught up in these shoot-around announcements here. Cleveland outscored Indiana 70-38 inside the paint in game 1, still lost by 9. So there's a lot of good things going here for Indiana as well. Cleveland, on the other hand, they've done everything right except for win the games in this series, really. Now they have a banged up, maybe not a shorthanded team, but it's certainly a banged up team tonight if everybody goes. Not real sure they can get 48 out of Donovan Mitchell again, especially the way he did it in game 2. He went to the rim basically uncontested, contested and uncontested a lot, but he was just, you know, put his head down and go to the rim. He scored 45 of his 48 points from either inside the arc or from the free throw line. Certainly you could ask Ty Jerome to do a little bit better than 1 for 14, 7% from the floor as he shot in game 2. He's been better than that. But I prefer the other side, which is likely eager to get their series over with if they can. That's the mindset they'll have. And then just try and get the other series to be prolonged between the Celtics and the Knicks. Indiana's been great at home. I think the price tag is out of whack. Free play for today in this game is going to be Indiana plus the 5 points, full game play there. Let's go ahead and get to the offer from WagerTalk.com here. And they're heating things up a little bit with this 7-11 flex deal. Buy 7 days of flex picks and get 4 free. The flex pass for 7 days is $99, and they're going to throw in 4 bonus days for free. It's $108 value in freebies there. So it's a 7-day access package for the Flex Picks. Get 11, get the next 4 free, all from WagerTalk.com. If you're not familiar how Flex Picks work real quick, I'll just tell you. In my case, you would choose me as your Flex handicapper. You would get every single play I release every day, no matter what the sport. I happen to cover NBA, UFL, and Major League Baseball. And you can even interchange. You can set the calendar, which handicapper you want for a certain day. You can even take a day off and use it later on. So it's a pretty good deal, what they have going here with Flex Picks. Once again, it's a 7-11 Flex Pick deal. Buy a 7-day access package, get the next 4 for free. Let's move on to Oklahoma City and Denver as we speak about free. This will be your free play for this game. Injury report good on both sides. Matchup and situation here. I'm going to talk specifically about a trend that's developing here in the playoffs with the Denver Nuggets. And it's going to be a second quarter trend. And for multiple reasons, the Denver Nuggets are now 2-7 against the spread in the second quarter in their 9 playoff games. And it's getting magnified in this matchup against Oklahoma City. You could simply say that you want to fade Denver second quarter because that's when they rest their center, Nikola Jokic, a little bit. That would be pretty much true, except for the fact that he played 9 minutes and 35 seconds in the second quarter in game 2 out of a possible 12. And that was after playing all 12 in the first quarter. So Jokic played 21-35 of the opening 24 in the first half, and they still got wrecked in the second quarter. They scored 35 points with Jokic on the floor for 9 minutes and 35 seconds of that second quarter. Second quarter total for Denver was 35. They still lost by 7 because OKC got to 42. Jokic saw that much time. It's more than he's accustomed to, simply because Denver was trying to stay in what was quickly becoming an absolute rout. So they just left him out there. And the other reason, Denver just has no bench depth. We've talked about it quite a bit. Beyond Russell Westbrook, their sixth man, there's no bench for the Denver Nuggets here. Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther are inconsistent contributors at best. They're inconsistent contributors that Denver can't really count on. So in the second quarter, when they have kind of a mixed lineup on the floor, they can be taken advantage of. And again, like I say, it's magnified by OKC, which has arguably the best bench depth in the entire NBA. They run 5 more guys out there. They split time with their starting centers, Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren play a little bit. Of course, SGA gets his rest and then comes back, as do the rest of the starters. The 5 that they have on the floor, the rotations that head coach Mark Daigneault throws out there are certainly better than what Denver can put on the floor. And it showed up. It showed up real bad in game 1. In game 2, Oklahoma City is 2-0 in the second quarter in this series. Oklahoma City happened to lead the league in second quarter scoring this year. They averaged 30.5 points per game in the second quarter. The Denver Nuggets against the spread this season in the second quarter, 37-53. It was the second worst mark in the NBA, only 46.2% cover rate. And it should have happened a little bit more in the LA Clippers series to Denver, but it happened enough. The Clippers went 5-2 in the second quarter against Denver in that 7-game series previous to this one. And the Clippers bench didn't even play well. So for Denver, it's a problem. It's magnified by the fact that they may be playing the best 10-man rotation in the NBA. And you can also add to that Denver's preference to play up tempo. They were the 8th fastest paced team in the NBA this season. The problem for them is what they do well, Oklahoma City does better. Oklahoma City right now in the playoffs, the fastest paced team of what's left here in the playoffs. They ran at a Greyhound-type pace in game 2. It led to 34 points off turnovers. Oklahoma City's D very active, and a 26-5 fast break edge in points. In this case, the odds makers are asking Oklahoma City to win the second quarter by a bucket. I think it's an attackable price tag. I think it's a likely outcome. It's going to be your free play for today in this game. Oklahoma City -1.5 in the second quarter. Very specific there. On the way out, like to ask everybody to hit the like button if you like the selections and analysis provided here by Wager Talk handicappers each and every day. Go ahead and click like, click subscribe. Join the 202 plus thousand people that have already subscribed to Wager Talk TV. If you have a comment on the OKC Denver game or the previously mentioned Cleveland Indiana game, please drop it in the comment section. I tried to get to them as quickly as possible. For now, this is Rob Veno saying good luck with all your plays. We'll see you next time on Wager Talk TV.